Hi, it's Barb, Meeple PhD, and my favorite play for October 2023 is Spellbook. This is a brand new game by Phil Walker Harding, and as soon as I saw it hit the game shelves at my game store, I had to go check it out. He's one of my favorite designers, and I love trying out his new games. And this one was no exception. This is a game where all of the players are magicians learning different spells. You're going to do this by drawing materia either from a bag or taking it from the altar, and then using those to learn different spells. So the way the game plays is that each player has a set of 7 spells. They're going to be identical across the board. Every player has the same set of 7 spells. But there are different sets that you can choose. There are 3 different sets that are suggested for kind of your first few games. But so it's 3 of each of 7 different colors. But then later you can start mixing and matching. You know, you'll mix up all your red spells and pick one at random, and then everyone takes that exact same one. And you do the same with all the different colors. And so I really find that this game sings once you start mixing and matching, because we got a little bored with those beginner ones. But once we started mixing and matching, we started having a lot more fun. It was fun to begin with, but even more fun to see how the different combinations come out and how that makes the game feel different each time. So on your turn, you're going to have 3 different phases. You're going to have a morning, an afternoon, and a night phase. And with each phase, there is a base action that you can take. Or as you start learning spells, you can replace those base actions with an action on one of your spells. So for example, the morning action, you can always either take 1 materia from the altar or draw 2 from the bag. But you might learn a spell that instead you can discard 1 materia with a certain rune on it and draw 4 from the bag. And it's almost always better to have more materia in front of you. At midday, you're typically going to be storing some materia on your familiar, which I haven't talked about. You have this little familiar board, and you're going to start putting materials on them. And that's one of the clocks in the game. As soon as someone fills their entire familiar board, you finish the round and the game's over. Similarly, once someone learns all 7 of their spells, the game will end. So there are 2 different clocks in the game, and you have to be paying attention to your opponents and seeing what they're doing, because this game can end faster than you think. And then at nighttime, the one action that you can always do is learn a spell, and you're going to do that by turning in a material of a certain color in order to learn that color spell. So for black materia in order to learn the black spell at the level 4. And there are 3 different levels on each spell. If it's an action spell, you can always take whatever level you learned the spell at or anything lower. So you get a lot of different options if you learn it at a higher level, but that can be super hard to do early in the game. And so you might learn some of them at the lowest level in order to give you more options for, how you play the game. So like I said, I've played this a few times this month. I played it at solo, I played it at 2 and at 3. Each game felt a little differently, which I found really interesting. And then each time we mixed up the spells, it felt a little different too. One game felt super fast, like they all feel fast, but this one felt even faster than the normal game. Another one, it felt like it took a little time to get our engines going, but once we did, again, it ended really fast. And so, the 2 different ways to end the game come into play differently. If you've got 1 set of spells, you might be filling your familiar very quickly and not learning very many spells. In other games, you might be learning the spells fairly quickly and don't get a chance to fill up your familiar board. So I really enjoy how different this game feels every time we play it. And I'm looking forward to exploring more of the combinations of the different spells. So that has been my favorite play for October. It's thematic too, we're magicians, right, for Halloween. So anyway, you can take a look for me elsewhere on the internet. I am Meeple PhD on Instagram and X and YouTube. Otherwise, I will see you next month.